right inside there. Because what I know is that as we are using this spiritual principle, as we are co-creating with law, our feelings are just as important as our thoughts, if not even more. Our thoughts and our feelings become our beliefs, and our beliefs are what create our experience. So we want to get those feelings engaged. So if I'm moving towards some new inspiration in my life, to have the thought of that inspiration, of that new thing, is beautiful. To get the feeling of what that might be. Now, you're making it up because you haven't gotten there yet. So you have to make it up. Grab onto that feeling of freedom. Grab onto that thing and bring it together with your thoughts. And know that that inspiration is now moving you forward. The emotions and the thoughts working together is how we can create a whole beautiful life of freedom. And again, remember, I'm talking about internal freedom. I'm not talking about stuff that goes on around us, because we still may have to deal with some stuff. But inside, we have a new choice. Inside, we've got that feeling to come with us. So remembering that feeling of freedom, tucking it into our pocket and using it. Using it as we move forward. I'm going to say one little piece, but this is going to be a whole other talk. So all I'm going to say is this one aspect of freedom that's also important. Is that we must feel free at times to give ourselves a break. To give ourselves retreat time and space. To give ourselves rest. That's another aspect of freedom that's important to mention. But I have done and will do more talks in completion about that. But if there's any place in your life right now that can use freedom by saying, you know what, I really need a break. It's really present in a lot of me and my folks at my women's group right now. So I'm saying it for you ladies mostly, but it's for all of us. That freedom in, I need a retreat. It's okay. In our very busy world that says you have to always be moving and active. No, you don't. Being gentle with yourself, you find that way to take that rest. When we are releasing, when we are moving towards freedom, we must be constantly releasing, letting go. Forgiveness, letting go. And at the same time, constantly saying, what do I want now? Where do I want to move towards as I move towards my inspiration? So both things bring us sweet freedom. And I'd like to do just a little mini guided meditation before I move into our final prayer. So if you would close your eyes with me. As we close our eyes, we open up the inner eyes, the place inside where we know the God within. And right here, we've got a beautiful intuitive voice that talks to us all the time when we are ready to listen. And so we move ourselves into that intuitive voice. It's the God voice inside of us. It doesn't live in our rational, logical thinking mind. It lives in our being. So turning within to that intuitive, very wise place within us. Let's ask ourselves, is there any excuses that are keeping me stuck? And ask them to come up. Call them to mind. Don't be afraid of them. Are there any excuses that I perceive are holding me back, that are keeping me stuck? And if there are anything that is coming to mind, if there's any of those excuses, ask your inner voice, am I willing now to let them go? It's okay whatever you say. If you're not ready, that's okay. You can revisit it another time. If you are really willing to let some of those old excuses go, imagine them dissolving now into nothingness. Checking in with that inner voice, ask ourselves, is there something in me that is needing a retreat, a rest? Some of us are going to say yes, and some of us are going to say no, because we have balance already in our lives. But if there's something that pops up that says, yes, I'm ready for some retreat time, the next question is, am I willing to allow myself to have it? There has to be willingness. Am I willing to allow myself to have it? And what might that look like? Let your intuition tell you. It might be a couple of hours alone. It might be going off somewhere and having a silent retreat. It might mean taking a couple of days off of work. It might mean telling a beloved, not today. And then with that releasing, we ask the next question, and that is, what is inspiring me today to move forward into my sweet freedom? What is inspiring me? What is calling me? What is my joy that's moving me forward? And when you begin to feel that, ask yourself, am I willing to move toward it? Am I willing to move toward my good, toward my joy, toward my freedom? And then that feeling that's in your heart pocket, imagine that it's spreading and filling up every cell of your body. And allow that feeling of freedom and goodness to work together with your intuitive voice that's leading you towards your joy, towards your good. And hold that as the thing that leads you today. And with our eyes still shut, move into our final prayer, beginning as I always do, remembering that there is only one source, one power. We can call it God, we can call it the energy of all life, we can call it a universal presence and principle, we can call it the I am. Whatever we call it, it is an intelligence that is amazing. It is a love beyond our wildest dreams. It is a creative power that has been given to us as we are, unique beings that we were created to be. We have within us the power to co-create using the intelligence of the source, using the love of the source. We have this power within us, and we have at our disposal the most beautiful life of sweet freedom. Remembering who we are, I speak this word for us, that as we each move toward that inspiration, toward that joy, toward that greater good, that the Spirit within us knows how to move us, and it does move us today. As we have chosen, we begin to move toward it, and it begins to move toward us. And let's remember to say thank you. Let's remember to have that gratitude within us for the Spirit that is moving us and attracting our good. Let's remember to say thank you for every little bit of joy we feel. Let's remember to say thank you for our freedoms. Let's remember that we do co-create with this power that is greater than we are. Let us know that everything we need today is already here. And let us have the guts to choose it. Let us have the inner strength to choose it. I know this for us. I know this for us. And I know that today we leave here with a sense of inspiration as we move toward our good. And so I am grateful. And with this gratitude, I release this prayer into that spiritual principle, freedom under law. I release it, I let go, and I let the power do what it does. And so it is.